Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. How about you?
Alhamdulillah, good as well. And how has been Friday?
Yeah, it was good. Preparing for Friday before the prayer, as we do, and
Right.
then praying, and uske baad se lunch वगैरह.
Say,
Standard
say.
this thing.
Did you
And
have any
somehow I don't
Friday
know why,
special?
but Friday special in terms of food, no, not actually. I've been skipping lunch for a few days, so I'm just
Okay.
having some fruit or something. So mango season is ending, so my mom gave me
And
mango.
okay, so instead of skipping lunch, do early dinners, have good lunch
Yes.
and breakfast
Uh-huh.
and early
Okay.
dinners, like around 7, 6:37, do the dinner and then you're done. That's much better than skipping meals. Because
Of course.
that is because earlier I had thought about skipping meals and stuff like that, and I tried it for a while as well, but
Mm.
it didn't work out for me because if I left myself hungry, the only thought which was on my mind that I am hungry, I couldn't do any productive thing.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I did a bit of research, and what came out of it was you can eat what you want, but you have to eat in proper portions and at the proper times. Because usually
Right,
in
right.
Hyderabad, what happens, or even here on weekends, is you eat late at night and you eat all junk food at that time, and then your body doesn't get the time
Yeah, yeah.
to break down the food and do everything which it requires, and it does
Mm,
it in the middle of the night. So if you don't eat well in advance, the food won't be able to, go through the entire processing in the night. If you eat like 12 or
okay.
11:30, then
True,
it's,
true.
the processing, which is the natural processing, which God, Allah has made, is you're actually changing the entire cycle, right?
It's
So
true, true.
I think
Absolutely.
we should work on that rather than skipping meals, especially if you're looking to lose weight,
No, no, not to lose weight in particular, but what's happening is my breakfast is happening very late, so it's almost like a brunch. So that's the
Okay.
reason why I'm not having anything like any heavy lunch, kind of like a proper lunch. I'm having something like maybe fruit or some mild this thing. लेकिन
Right,
full meal or such I am not having. The reason is because of my late breakfast, and because
right.
if I do have lunch, then my dinner would be late. It'll become very
So
late.
what I
So
recommend, just a suggestion, once you get up for Fajr,
absolutely.
do your breakfast at that time, light breakfast, like just boiled eggs or a fruit or something
Ah,
like that, and
okay.
think to yourself that this is my breakfast. If you're not, obviously, there are things like you might prepare or your mom might prepare for you or things like that, but it can't happen
Mm.
at early in the morning. So whatever you can make at that
Sure,
point,
true.
you just make like boiled eggs or something that can be done, or fruits or something like that, and breakfast is
Mm.
done. And then you go directly to lunch and you have a full,
Right.
good meal. And
Uh-huh.
then, as I mentioned, 6:37, you do your dinner and then nothing. Don't eat anything.
Right.
You sleep at
Right.
10 or max
Absolutely.
10:30. And then you won't be
Absolutely.
needing to sleep after Fajr.
True, true. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm trying for that. I'm working towards that. Not sleeping after Fajr and sleeping early at night. Inshallah.
Right,
Jazakallah for
inshallah.
your this thing. I'll do that.
Yeah,
So,
hopefully I
and
can do
what's
that as
new
well.
with you? Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Absolutely. All of us.
Okay, yeah, you were asking about what's new, and I wanted to tell this because a few days back I got a message on LinkedIn because I participated in a lot of pitch competitions while building my own thing. So I was approached by a I think it was an insurance brand. It is a well-known brand in Canada. So they
Hmm.
messaged me on LinkedIn saying that, if you can be a mentor for one of the teams for their pitch competition. So I was like
Okay.
surprised, initially because I was like, obviously I've been a part of entrepreneurship. I'm still, a budding entrepreneur. I'm trying to be, grow as well. So, but I'm something, I have a lot of experience, but we have huge ambitions, right? So
Yeah.
we think of ourselves that till we do not reach there, we haven't achieved much. I think it's human nature that we are always thinking about the next step, right? Um,
Absolutely.
that we want to achieve. So I was like, I think to myself that, I got to do a lot. How can I be a mentor right now? These guys are asking that should I be,
Yeah.
could I spend some time as being a mentor? So I was uh, but when I thought about it, I was like, why not just go and they were asking like 30 minutes or 30 minutes to an hour weekly. So I
Hmm.
was like, this is the best time to network, I guess. You can meet a lot of new people. You can meet a lot of budding founders, entrepreneurs, and who are working in different fields. So I took it
Yes.
up as a networking and as a growth perspective. And
Yeah.
they
Learning
matched me to a
experience.
team. Yes, they matched me to a team. Basically,
Hmm.
who was actually we had a very common thing that we all of us we were from the Middle East, like born and brought up. They were from
All
the
right.
UAE as well, I think,
Nice.
and obviously, as everybody knows, we were born and brought up in Saudi. So that was a common chord that stuck initially itself. And the person who was the founder, his designation, when I saw his designation before meeting through emails, it had so
Uh,
many degrees, so many. Uh, I was like, could I even match to this guy? Like he had, I think he had one PhD, I think he had a double PhD and in
uh-huh.
medical sciences and
Nice.
stuff like that. And I was like, okay,
Nice.
this seems like
Hmm.
I'm here because I would say myself, uh, being a master's degree holder, I feel that I have studied a
Hmm.
lot. But when you see
Uh-huh.
people having so many degrees, then
Yes.
it dwarfs ourselves. You'll be like,
True.
you haven't done anything, great. So,
True.
but they were really humble, and they are actually working on bone cancer to they are developing
Okay.
a device that can completely
Nice.
eradicate bone cancer and avoid
That's good.
recurrence of a bone cancer. They've been working on it, and they have filed a couple of patents, which will be
Hmm.
finalized by the end of the year as well. And they have raised money from Abu Dhabi, and they have raised money even in Canada.
Oh,
I saw their
nice.
pitch. That was really good. But yeah, these are some things, when you see people achieving
Mm.
these kinds of milestones, it
Right.
inspires you as a budding entrepreneur as well, that people are
Absolutely.
trying to grow. And apart from that, I so being a mentor myself, I had to ask them like, what is the issue that they're facing, right? uh,
Right.
uh, which is which is the reason they are there in the pitch competitions specifically. So I had that question for them, and they mentioned that specifically they are looking to raise more money because they have to, as this is something related to medicine. So clinical
Right.
trials are very important before it can even be introduced in the medical system here, and especially in Canada, there are a lot of certifications required before
Yes.
you are even introduced in the hospitals, right? So
Right.
they have a great timeline to now it's 2026, but they have a timeline of 20 in the 2030s. They plan to
Okay.
be commercial and be in hospitals. So it's a,
Okay. That's
very
nice.
in detail plan. So when I understood what their obstacles were, was basically that when they are presenting to Canadian investors, they are not able to connect. They are providing everything, all the details and everything, but they're not able to get the investments which are required, right?
Okay.
So everybody is listening to the entire pitch, and they understand everything, but they're not able to close. So that's one thing that is stopping them, because I think they require another $2 million to complete their, testing, prototypes testing,
Mm.
and even their clinical
Right.
trials. Yeah, so basically that's the issue they were facing. So,
Uh-huh.
as this was just an introductory meeting,
Right.
I gave my introduction, they gave their introduction, explained about the company and what obstacles they're facing right now. And uh, I'll be doing some research on it, what they can do better, that during their pitch, that it can, align with investors, and hopefully they can get some, they can raise some money in their $2 million target, right?
Right. Right.
To continue what they're actually working on. So
Sure.
basically, that was it.
Absolutely.
That was a new experience really for me, and it pretty well. It went pretty well, and I hope I can provide them with some inputs uh,
Yes.
that can help them in the future, right? Because basically,
Absolutely.
if we if we compare the ventures, our ventures, or specifically with theirs, their venture is more aligned, which can help humankind globally, right? It is
Absolutely.
something that is
Absolutely.
related to medicine, and something which will
Yes.
be, if it comes into being and if it happens, actually, it will help a lot of people with bone cancer, and even with
True.
veterinary services as well. So
Right.
that includes the entire, animal kingdom as well. So yeah,
Yes.
it's very good for the living beings, and I hope that they can do a good job. It, it it's been they have a great team.
That's great. That's great. And I think the level at which they require direct investors. It's something
Right.
that, like, usually what happens, there are some certain websites like Kickstarter and all, obviously not for such huge potential, what do you say, devices and businesses. Like, in generally, there is something Kickstarter, and also we saw a couple of, what do you say, you told me in Canada there are some groups, why say kuch tha, no?
A YC Combinator, right?
Right, right. So, but they are for
It's
initial
basically,
stages.
yeah, YC Combinator is basically in the US mainly.
Okay,
San
yes.
Francisco, yeah, the Silicon Valley. That is
Right.
completely a different level altogether. But anyway,
Right, right.
they need to, they are looking to reach over there, right? They're
Right,
not
right, right.
actually tech. They are actually, obviously, we can say it's tech. It's related to AI basically. They are trying to,
Yeah,
they have connected AI with their field. And they're
right.
trying to eradicate bone cancer using these technologies. So it's
Yes,
basically tech,
absolutely.
but with medicine, obviously. So, but the only
Right.
thing I think stopping them from obviously going to Silicon Valley or San Francisco is they're obviously studying here. The founder himself is a PhD fellow, and the intern as well
Okay.
is, doing PhD. So here
All
in
right, right.
Toronto.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, basically that's the thing.
So, but at their level, they need direct investors, and once they get like a green light of sorts, or like something from a good investor, then definitely it would be very helpful, to get more investments and everything. And
Right.
they need to strengthen their pitch, as you said. so that they get these investors, and then later on, once this they are come in, and then not just individual investors, I think even investment companies can come in,
Yes.
but that's like a later level,
So
I think.
right, exactly. He mentioned one of the pitch competitions that where a founder, he basically he just had a bachelor's degree, and they just had an idea. They didn't have any
Hmm.
sales or any prototype or any testing at that moment, but they still raised about
Right.
$1 million.
Nice.
So he was like, we have done such extensive work, but still we're not able to raise money. But this guy just came along and, just with an idea,
Um,
the people, they were willing to invest. So it depends on how you present your idea and how it
yes.
connects with the investors. It could be one in thousands that such teams can get, funding without any testing or any, MVP in hand. But
Yes. Yes.
still, there are chances that you can still raise funding with just an idea. That was surprising to hear, but there are, lucky ones who get it. But still, uh, even if you get the funding, after that is the real test, right? How you use the funding and
True.
how you reply, because
Yes.
it's not free money. It's someone who is actually,
Absolutely.
you know, actually betting on you that you will
Yes.
be doing well. And after a time period, there will be questions asked about what you're doing with the money,
Yes.
right? So
Absolutely.
it looks fun and games that they have raised $1 billion or, $1 million or stuff like that. But I think the real thing starts after you raise the money. So yeah,
Yes.
it depends on how you look at it. If someone was really looking for
Yes.
that funding, they would be extremely happy
Yeah.
and they would work double the work, right? Double the time
Absolutely.
and would like to
Absolutely.
get this stuff done because they have the resources now. But
Yes.
if it's someone who is, who gets anxious by that, then it will be trouble in the long run.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but these investors are pretty smart. They
Yes.
most of the
Yes.
times, like 80 to 90%, they'll do the invest in the right places. But still, 10,
Right.
20% mistakes will happen everywhere. So that
Right.
is part and parcel.
Yeah. Speaking of investments, I'm sure you must have heard about SpaceX's IPO opening today.
Right. We get a
Uh,
lot of tweets, obviously, from Elon. So yeah, are you excited about it?
Biggest IPO in history. Yeah, $1.77 trillion valuation,
Hmm.
and till date they have people have invested about $75 billion. They have raised about seventy-five
Okay,
billion
so
dollars. So it's going to be the biggest IPO in history, and but it could go both ways as of what people are saying, because it's very highly, valuated, based on future predictions, not even on what they have currently.
right, right. I think they're looking for a
So
huge.
we need to.
I think it's a ambitious goal, but I think looking at the company, they might be able to pull it off, I guess.
Absolutely,
Right.
yes. Looking at the company, looking at Elon, who does things so well, of course, and so quickly. So yeah, we have to see it. It's opening today. We need to see by the end of the day what
Absolutely.
happens.
I'm gonna keep an eye on it and I'll check it out after our meeting, obviously. So yeah, I think are you able
Absolutely,
to buy
yes.
it in India as well? I guess we can, right?
Uh, yeah, $135 per share, but it's already over
Okay, yeah.
ordered. Yani ke, whatever the number of shares were available, they basically convinced Nasdaq 100 to get their names within 15 days,
Hmm.
which is not the usual
Okay.
case. So, but anyhow, we need to see. It's
It's
already
already overbooked,
over
then
this thing.
that
Uh,
shows the interest, that shows how he's going, obviously.
yes,
So
yes, absolutely.
it's basically exciting,
Just need to
exciting
see how it
times.
once it's Right, because we've seen a small case of Paytm. It was also overhyped, but
Yeah,
then once it launched,
tanked.
unfortunately, it didn't do well. And then, but then it did get back after a while. It did take some time. I think it was quite recently that they made a profit. They basically they went in
Right, but
plus. But once they launched the IPO, they
yeah,
went
it
down.
was, I think it was overbooked as well. But then uh, I, fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to book it. But then once it went
Okay.
down, I was like, okay, अच्छा ही हुआ. So, but anyway,
Right. Yeah.
it can go up anytime. That's obviously because Paytm is something that is, it's been always there in the market and still being
Hmm.
used. But I think after Google Pay and
Yes.
Phone Pay has come around, Paytm, the usage of Paytm has been a bit low. It has been m much more used
Hmm.
as a, platform to buy tickets or, uh, you know, uh,
Yes.
something like that. Because I don't remember, because I was in India just like just back in December. So I did not use Paytm even
Right.
once in those 2 months. But I used for all my transactions, I used Google Pay or Phone Pay, and yeah, and even
Right.
as we discussed earlier, during our college days, we used to get coupons or stuff. So I use Nearby for my coupons.
Right.
And so I did not open Paytm. That's what I'm trying to
Nice.
understand. Did I, you know, so I'm not sure the public is
Right. Right.
still
Right.
using Paytm that much, or if they are not, I'm not too sure, because I basically did not use it.
Same here. It's been a really long time since I have used Paytm. Like you mentioned, maybe to check some because sometimes it has lower rates in flight tickets or train tickets.
Right.
So उसके लिए
Yes.
otherwise तो खैर काफी
Actually, there was a time,
less
there was
usage
a
हो गया.
time that I used to use only Paytm. Because even for
Right.
you,
Right.
I think you might remember, for movie tickets and everything, more than
Yes.
book my
Yes.
show, I used to use Paytm, because they had a
Paytm.
lot of
Yes.
good offers as well, good deals. And then
Right.
this Google Pay, and earlier it was known as Stays, it wasn't that known earlier, right? Paytm
Yes.
was
Yes.
the basic thing which was known for easy money transfer. And I remember during my
Right.
2017, 18, these Razorfish events, I used to get payments through Paytm.
Hmm.
All the payments were
Okay.
coming in through
That's nice.
Paytm, so that I was using Paytm, no Google Pay. And then after that, there
Okay.
was
That's nice.
a shift. The complete shift was there, because in Paytm,
Right.
earlier we weren't able to use UPI and stuff. You had to put
Yes.
money
Yes.
in Paytm and then use the money.
Yes.
So, but
Yeah.
then when Google Pay came in, they just made it like a bank account. You just pay immediately.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that was there. So I
True.
think Paytm usage has gone down.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
once in
it's
a while,
very low. The
obviously,
usage is
if
cool.
you can save money, so why not? I'll use the app. That's not an issue. But not specially. I'm
Yeah,
not
daily
using their
basis
app.
के लिए तो
Right.
yes, yes, true. Absolutely.
So yeah, I think
So
this has been
let's
an informative
wrap it up then.
session, basically
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
uh, budding entrepreneurs or stuff, that you should, uh, you may as well get an opportunity for mentorship. So,
Yeah,
personally, as I got that, I think we should keep one thing in mind, that we shouldn't get taken aback that, we are not ready for it. We are never ready for anything.
no, true, absolutely.
So we just need to
We have to make
be,
ourselves ready. Yes.
yeah, yeah, we should take it as a learning experience and just dive in, I guess. It's pretty easy to tell, but yes, you just need to dive in and understand. And it is very difficult to dive in as well.
Right.
So you have to motivate
True.
yourself that just
Absolutely.
do it. You have nothing to lose, and just do it.
Oh, and actually, it is these opportunities that kind of force you, and they force you to leave laziness and do something. Because I can tell from myself, one of my good friends, you have met her, Alekia. So
Hmm.
we have collaborated together on a lot of things since college. So
Hmm.
she is something. She is really good in communication. It's just okay, she has that skill to basically get you to do things as such.
Okay.
So I learned because of her, and I will thank her for sure. Okay, I learned a lot of things in architecture, like some things that I hadn't learned before. Okay, how chalo aaj karenge, kal karenge. But when she
Right.
gave a project or some work, yeah, I need this done. So I had to learn that, and that really helped me. Okay, no, chalo, theek hai, this is something good for us, and that
Yeah. You take it up as a
helped me to learn
challenge.
that thing. Exactly, and basically it increased my skills. So
Right.
similarly for mentorship or such things, if any opportunity we get, once we take it, and then later on, while doing it, we will have to basically,
Basically, it is learning
learn.
on the job.
Right, exactly, learning all the job. Absolutely.
Take care.
You too. So, Mafas.
Of us.